Well, this is probably a mistake, honestly. Uh, didn't put much preparation into this live video, which is, again, probably the worst way to start out a video is by telling people that I didn't put a lot of preparation into it. But the truth is, there are so many things going on. I've been wanting to make videos and get some things off my chest. There's so many things that I've been doing that I haven't been telling you about, so many things going on that I haven't commented on. And I've been wanting to make a lot of videos, but if I just make one video about one thing, then that's what then it's a mistake, because that's all you're going to hear from me, and there's so much other stuff going on. It becomes kind of, that one thing can become a big deal, and I'm not interested in making a big deal out of one thing. I've got so many things. So then I'm just like, it's just not worth it. I'm not going to record. But today I said I'm going to I think I would have had a rotten weekend if I didn't hit the record button and just share a couple of thoughts and tell you what I've been working on and tell you which direction I'm going in and what's happening. And this is something that I just felt like I needed to hit the record button. So here we are. One thing that got under my skin big time today was seeing an article about how the real estate market is crashing, or the lowest sales in years. And I just thought, my gosh, you know what? That's kind of right, but it's also kind of doesn't really tell people what the real scoop is and what's really going on. And so I want to talk about the real estate market. I want to talk for a second about all sorts of things that I haven't commented on. One thing is all of the stuff that's been going on at the Tarrant Appraisal District. There's been right now, there's another election going on where there's board members that are being appointed. They're under consideration. There's some really wild and scandalous stuff going on there. I'm not going to get way deep into it, but there was other stuff that's happened recently with these new board members campaigned on a 5% cap and reappraising every few years. And the headlines on that just went wild and in all sorts of different directions. There's a lot of bad information about all of that stuff that came out. There's a software project that I'm working on, and it kind of ties into some of the news that you may have seen with the Association of Realtors, where the laws changed, and the headlines on that said that the 6% commission was dead and all sorts of drama. Well, I decided to write some software to kind of really honestly take care of a problem that we're having, and that the real estate industry is having. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere or do anything big good, but it could be. It could be incredible. It could be amazing. I certainly wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was going to be pretty big and awesome. Then there's other stuff, like we helped somebody buy a house with a 2.7% interest rate. And I thought, this is absolutely mind blowing. I'm like, this deserves some attention. This guy just bought a house when interest rates are 6-7% and he can get it at 2.7%. I thought, well, I'd love to make a video on that. I didn't make a video, I'm telling you now, but instead I was like, we'll just run some ads. And, if anybody's interested, you might see some of those. If you're on my Facebook page or you click my website, you might see those circulating in and out. We did a party at Coco Shrimp. I rode on my bicycle to every Coco Shrimp location that there is, and did this little promotion thing that they had going that was open to anybody to do. You would go to all their different locations, and if you go eat at their locations, they would give you little freebies at every location. Well, one of the freebies was that they would pay for half of your order, and they said you can invite friends. And so I thought, well, I'll invite friends. And so I invited everybody I could. We had hundreds of people show up. It was so awesome. We threw an absolute blowout party at Coco Shrimp. I fed everybody tacos. Well, it wasn't just me that fed everybody tacos. It was Coco Shrimp too. Anyway, that was just awesome. I never sent an email or did a video on that. And all this stuff is just eating me alive. It's like, man, I'm just going to pop if I don't get on a video and start talking and share a little bit about this. So at the risk of just dribbling on and talking forever about all these topics, I'm going to hit some of this stuff. I'm not going to go as deep as I want to, but what I really want to do, I need to start a regular habit or routine. It's not really a habit or routine. I've got to start a production of making a bunch of videos on a regular basis. The problem is I got to have help. I'm doing so many different things, running a real estate team, doing all the protests and all the property tax stuff and all the political stuff and the legislative stuff that's coming up. I'm in deep with some of the legislative things going on, and I'm planning on reaching out to some legislators and thinking I wasn't going to play a role in any of this or do anything, but there are some opportunities that I've had where I'm in a great position to be able to help, I think, make our laws, our situation quite a bit better. And I thought, yeah, so it's kind of stumbled into my lap. And it's like, well, this is one of those things where look at it like, I don't think I can ignore this. I've got to go. And I'm going to go deeper. Anyway, if I don't have some help in producing some of these videos, I'll never get all these ideas out and let you guys in on a lot of the inside scoop and the things that are going on that I'm exposed to. That quite frankly, I think a lot of you would have some interest in knowing about, at least scratching the surface, just so you can know what's going on. And I'm looking to the left and to the right about with trying to figure out who else would tell anybody about some of the things that I'm seeing. And there's just nobody. The Fort Worth Report and the Star Telegram do their best, and some reporters do better than others. So I've had some incredible advocates that are, I shouldn't say advocates, I should say allies, and just getting information out in the media, telling you what you need to know. But there are so many times where the real story is not getting told. And I'm like, who's going to tell this? Or who's going to explain the stuff about why our property taxes are so high and how it's affecting school funding and all this stuff that's happened with the board? Anyway, let me just dive into a couple things really quick here. I'm going to talk about something that it's hitting the headlines like right now. And I figure, let me share the screen over here. Okay. So headline I saw said that sales are at an all-time low. And so what they're talking about, it doesn't mean that the real estate market is at an all-time low. What it means is the number of closings is at an all-time low. And so when I hit that, then you can see exactly what we're talking about. We've got Tarrant County. Let's just get rid of Dallas County. So this is Tarrant County. This is the number of sales. And what we need to do is just look at that number. I mean, you can see where it's at in the past 3 years. That's where it's at. I don't have to tell you where it's just there it is. If you look at, so is it at an all-time low? Well, every January they tend to dip a little bit. They dip in the winter and in fall, and then they start jumping back up in the spring. But it doesn't mean that the winter or fall is a bad time to sell, or we're at a really horrible time to buy or sell. What it means is this is just the ebb and flow of the real estate market. The only thing that really matters is what's it going to be like for you if you need to buy or sell. And if you look at the stats, the Association of Realtors, among the things that they do a lot of things. Some things they do good, some things they do bad. Well, this one thing that they do good is they get some pretty good research and do some studies about why people move. The number one reason why somebody moves is because they need to, because they've either had a baby, they've had a job transfer, something like that. People don't generally move because interest rates are low or the market's doing great or whatever. Those are just the excuses that people say out loud. But when they need to move, they move. That's what ends up happening. So yes, there are people. There is a percentage of the population that could move if they wanted to, if they could move, but they've got a 3% interest rate on their house, and if they were to rebuy in today's market, then they'd be looking at a 6% interest rate. And so those people are not moving. But for the people that actually pull the trigger and go forward on it, it's because by and large, the people that are, have life changes going on. All right. So let's just look at this right here. This is sales prices. And some of this older stuff, I think there's some data integrity issues back here, but you can see where sales prices are at. They come up and go down. Let's go past 3 years. This is also the median. This means that half of all the sales are above this number and half of all of them are below that number. So we don't see the real estate market dropping off a shelf. We see it's kind of flat right now. And if you start looking at month over month, or year over year, sorry, then you can see that there's always a peak during these times. And we've had some exceptional periods. I'm just wanting to show you that we're not dropping off a cliff like you might think. Let's let's see here. Look, this is back in 2021. We're way higher than that now because we had this crazy, it would have turned into a bubble. It wasn't really a bubble. This is where interest rates jumped up, is right about this point. Then things kind of dropped off. The thing that you need to look at that tells you how's the real estate market doing is this right here. This is the months of inventory. If you saw back in this phase right after COVID, while interest rates were really low and there was a lot of pent up demand, then they got all the buyers. There were way more buyers than there were sellers. So the buyers gobbled up all the inventory, and then it got to the point where you would list a house for sale, and in order to have a chance at beating the 30 other offers, sometimes literally 30 other offers that were on that same house, you had to make an offer that was like $20,000, $30,000 above list price. I've seen some that were $100,000 above list price. That's during this time where the inventories were really, really low. This was insane. Now what happened is interest rates jumped up, and so inventory levels rose. So there was still a good number of sellers, but the buyers dropped off. And so then when you combine the buyers and the sellers together, then you get increased levels of inventory. Every fall and winter, it drops down, and then spring and summer, it increases. Fall and winter, it drops down. And so at about this point, we expect to see it to start go down. In Tarrant County, it did. Check this out. In Dallas County, it's still going up. Dallas. Let's see here. Right there. So you can see Dallas County went up. On average, it's about flat. I predicted, because you can actually predict this stuff if you just look at the trends and you look at year over year, does it go up or does it go down from one month to the next? I predicted we might get to 3.9 months of inventory in Tarrant County, but all that just to say, the sky's not falling. The real estate market is doing pretty good. Interest rates have dropped, and so they're not at 3%. They're probably not going to get back to 3% anytime soon. But if you need to sell, you can sell. If you're a buyer, now we're at a pretty decent level. Let me see here. If you go and look at the past 5 years, you can see that we're not in a place that is drastically different than we've seen in the past 5 years. But what everybody is noticing is that when you compare today's market to the market that we experienced during this time, it feels way worse. It's just not. It is compared to maybe that market. It feels slower because that market was insano, but today's market, it's actually fairly normal. Buyers now can shop around and find the house that they want. They don't have to put an offer in that's $100,000 above list price, and they don't have to jump on a house and put an offer in within the first hour that they see it. Sometimes that was the case back then, or we were doing offers sight unseen because that's the only way you could get a house. Now you can actually relax a little bit and find the house that you want. And sellers they're not just, it's not like dropping a hook in the water and pulling out a fish with no bait on it. Like your house has to actually look pretty good. It's a beauty contest and a price war, but it's not desperate. Nobody's in a desperation. There's no desperation going on. It's a fairly balanced market. It's kind of leaning more. It was leaning more towards a buyer's market, but now the interest rates have dropped. We're going to see houses take just a bit longer to sell because we're in winter months. But the inventories, if the inventory drops, then it's just a great market. I don't know what to say. If you need to buy or sell, just buy or sell. And if the interest rates is what's holding you back, we can help you assume a loan. If that's what you really want, we can help you do that. More times than not, if you're looking for a house, to find one that has an assumable mortgage, it's definitely possible. I think that last time I checked, there were about 250 houses or so in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that would qualify, that are on the market right now, that would qualify for an assumable, and they went anywhere from about $160,000 to about $2.2 million. So they're all over the place. They're in every price range, but you might not be able to find it in the exact subdivision you want at the time that you're looking to move. It just kind of depends. If that's something that interests you, just let me know. Again, it's a good time to sell if it's a good time for you. That's what it boils down to. All right. And if you buy and sell in the same market, it's the market conditions aren't as important, because if you're going to reap the benefits when you're buying or reap the benefits when you're selling, if it's good for buyers, not sellers, then it's like horse trading. it's like, you're not buying. So I'm getting text people saying, "Hey, I see you on video." Sorry. What's up, y'all? All right, let's talk about something else here. Oh, whoopsie. What did I do? Oh, I put the live stream on. My bad. Look, I'm a rookie. I need all the help I can get. All right, let's talk about something else. You had the real estate laws. I talked to a room full of just regular folks the other day, and asked, have you heard about some of the headlines talking about the Association of Realtors rules changing and the commission structure changing and that sort of thing? And most people in the room hadn't heard of it. And so I'm just thinking, this is big news to me because I'm in the real estate industry. But if you're not in the real estate industry, you might not have ever heard about it. But the Association of Realtors had a big lawsuit where they had to change how they disclose the real estate fees. And some of it makes a lot of sense and some of it doesn't make sense at all. Basically, the sellers, the listing agents, are not allowed to advertise how much the seller is paying the buyer's agents. It's now it was supposed to help consumers, to help the public, but now they forced conversations about real estate fees to happen behind closed doors. I don't think that's right. I don't think it serves sellers well. I don't think it serves the public well. And so, long story short, not a whole lot's really changed. If I'm buying or selling a house, there hasn't been much actual change. But I think that those conversations need to happen in public. I think that the sellers, if they want to incentivize a buyer agent to bring a buyer, they ought to be able to do that. And so I'm writing some software to solve that problem. I'll talk more about that later, and then it'll probably be relevant. And I'll see if I can get some publicity to kind of spread the word on what's going on with that. But I'm really excited. I think we're going to be able to launch our software next week and start doing some testing in real life. All right. The TAD board proposed, the three elected people that were running, they proposed a 5% cap on property values. And they originally proposed that they wanted to only revalue properties every 3 years. So this is for your property taxes. The three elected people that got on the board at the appraisal district, this was their campaign promise. I didn't see a way that they could legally even remotely approach being able to fulfill those campaign promises. To their credit, they figured out some ways to get pretty close. There's not going to be a 5% cap, but they did something that's called a 5% threshold. Bravo to them. I thought that was pretty clever that they could figure out how to do it. What it really means, I don't know that it's actually going to have all that much effect. So I was excited to see the efforts, but in reality, I'm excited to see the efforts of people actually working inside the appraisal district for taxpayers. I think that things are going to look pretty much the same. I hate to say that, but that's what I'm saying. I've been talking about talking to different school district officials, talking to executives at the appraisal district, talking to different legislators, trying to figure out what does this really look like? And if other appraisal districts were to adopt these same kind of policies, what does this really look like? How does it affect school finance? And I have nerded out on this to the max. I plan on going deeper and trying to reveal and demystify how this is actually going to affect you guys, how it's going to affect school finance. And if I can just keep going on the path that I want to keep going on, I will release some videos and give a little bit more information because I think that it's stuff that you would want to know about if you knew what was going on behind the scenes. So anyway, that's what I've been going. That's the secret stuff. That's some more secret stuff. All right. Let's see. I talked a little bit about the Cocoa Shrimp stuff. It was awesome. It was just super fun. Hundreds of people came out. We fed everybody tacos, and Cocoa Shrimp split half that bill with us. It was totally cool. Tacos were delicious. It was so great to get to see so many of you guys. I hope to do more stuff like that in the future. I will. It's honestly, this stuff, I would be doing it every week. I'd be making more videos every week. It's honestly just fitting it in the calendar, having time on the schedule. I've got to get help. And so it's kind of like to build the infrastructure it takes to do all this stuff. Some people might think it would be easy, and it probably is easier than I'm making it, but I just need, just about putting it on the calendar. That's all it is. All right. That's it. Hey, I'm going to just end on this and close it out. Maybe I'll look at some comments and say what's up to some of you guys, because that's what I'm doing. I just wanted to talk with you. That was it. I've been doing so much work in secret. I'm just like, I am about to bust if I don't get on camera and just share some thoughts and just say hello and just say, honestly, I love saying thank you. The position that I'm in to get to serve you is such a blessing to me. I love serving you, and all of the goodwill here in my little circle of love. It's just awesome. I love getting to help people. And so many of you guys have been so kind to me. And it's just awesome. It's such a, I freaking love you guys. I love Tarrant County. I love serving my local community because it's just friends. And I've gotten to meet so many great people. And I just love doing it. I want to talk with you more instead of being in this office alone doing this stuff. And then once in a while, coming out to share some thoughts or ideas or get to hear from you. I want to do it more often. And so then whenever I get on Facebook, that's one of the areas that it's kind of an outlet where I get to see you guys. If I post something, it's like, I don't want to get hung up having to respond to too many comments. So a lot of times I don't, but I'm watching people all the time comment. It's a cool thing. And then I get to see all this hate happen from all the liberals and all the conservatives in the election stuff. And I'm like, man, I got so many friends on both sides. Certainly I have strong political views. It seems like everybody does these days. I don't know how you couldn't. But then I'm like, think about the people that I know. And I'm like, I know and love people of all walks. And it's like, the end of the day, yes, some of this stuff is important. Here, I'll give you something that I've been chewing on. And this is just because I've got it on record and didn't plan this out real well. And so you're just getting some unfiltered thoughts, and maybe I'll regret it later and delete the video. So if you're watching live, maybe it's bonus. But I've been thinking about this. Like, there's an area that you're really passionate about, and it's one of these hot point political lightning, what do we call it? Third rail type issues or lightning bolt issues where it just strikes a raw nerve. And let's talk about abortion or guns or the border, or you fill it in. It's like so many of you are probably ready to start talking about Trump or Kamala or whatever. Here's the deal. We're all people and we're all in this together. And it's good to have feelings and values on all this stuff. Of course, like we need to go vote. We need to do all this stuff. But then at the same time, it's also really important that we treat each other like humans. And so I've been thinking about this quite a bit on how you engage on these topics. And there are really 4 levels that you've just got to identify which level you're on and what kind of interaction you got to have. And this is just my 2 cents, and maybe I'll get some hate on this, like I said. But one would be the political level. In politics, if there's an issue that's a real strong issue, like there's only one way to go, and that is fight to win. And go all the way with it, and you've got to win and the other side's got to lose. And that's how that battle is fought. That's the mindset. That's the angle. Get your base, rally your base, get them all riled up and go fight. Like pick it and drive your people to the polls. That's it. The second level would be, it's a business level. So in so many of these issues, let's just take pro-life abortion issues. There's a business behind this. So there's so many people involved in the industry of performing those services, like them or not. They're just making money. They don't care about the social implications. They don't care about the political side. They just want to stay alive so they can do business. Okay, so there's that level. There's another level that's like a, I don't know what to call it, but a propaganda level, for lack of a better word. And it's just like the, let's say if you're, I don't know, what people say, I don't know how else to say it. Marketing, I don't know how else to say it. But that's the way that I've thought of that. So, and then the last level is the personal level, which is just one-on-one. So let's just say if you're engaging in a conversation about, one of these issues, and you're a politician, then there's a certain way that you're going to engage. And if you're trying to get some legislation passed, there's a certain way you're going to engage, a certain way you need to fight. If you're on stage in front of a bunch of people, or if you're somebody in entertainment, or somebody has a big reach, there might be a way that you present yourself in front of a crowd. There's a business angle where if you're going to fight on the business level, what would you do? You might not necessarily fight the same way you would politically, but there's a different angle, a different mindset, different goals involved. But then there's that 4th level, which is the personal level. And that is when you meet somebody that might be personally affected with one of these issues. How are you going to deal with that person? If you fight if you engage with that person on the personal level, like you would if you were on the political level, then you're going to completely alienate the some other values that you probably hold near and dear, which almost everybody I know on both sides believes in treating each other with respect and having love, and if you believe in God, and Jesus is a priority in your life, like He is mine, then Jesus calls us to love everybody. So how do you have strong beliefs about something you feel is really wrong, but at the same time love somebody? Well, it's just realizing which level you're on and fighting appropriately or engaging appropriately on that level. And so that's what I think whenever I get on Facebook and I see all these people, all this toxicity. It's like, how much of this is actually doing good? I think on that propaganda level, maybe, yeah, maybe, but at the cost of what? If it's somebody that you're not really friends with, maybe there's no relationship there to ruin. I don't know. It's entertaining to watch. I get all riled up, and I can't tell you how many times I've posted a comment or posted a post and then deleted it. Like, it's just not worth it. I'm gonna be tied up in this nonsense all day long. But for the people that you actually have relationships with, or the people in real life, your neighbors or whatever, it's like, that's where we've got to settle in on and realize that there's so many algorithms, dadgum Russian bots or whatever. I don't know what kind of crazy stuff is going on that's just going to pit us against each other. And people that we could normally respect the differences between each other and get along and treat each other with respect, and we get online and we act like total morons because I don't know. That's kind of how we're geared up to do it. And it's like we're in this political season where it's like each side is saying the other side is the destruction of America. And we both know that only one of those sides is right. All right. That's all I got. I feel better. Thank you for this. I needed it. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will do more videos. I want to promise what I'm going to do, but I also don't want to make a promise that I might not keep. Oh, yeah. I said I'd look at some comments. So there you go. All right. What we got? I'm going to just go right here and give us your 2.5. You, Jason, hook it up, man. Reach out. We sold a house to somebody. They got a 2.7% interest rate. And this is what I feel crappy about. It's like, I am not doing a great job of marketing. I'm just kind of stretched thin. We got a lot of business going on, so I don't have to market. But at the same time, we sold a house to somebody, 2.75% interest. And at that time, interest rates were at about 8%. And I'm like, this is a freaking miracle. We've got to tell everybody what we've done here. This is not something you keep secret. You try and help people out in a situation like this. And so, yeah, Jason, just holler at me. If you want help on this, the best thing to do is you can call us or email us. 817-928-4300 is the email, or is the phone number. That's not the email, obviously. Chandler@chandlercrouch.net. That'll get you the help you need. All right. So there you go. What's up? All right. I'm going to go through every single one of these. This will be fun. Who is a better presidential candidate for lowering property taxes? Oh, I don't know. I think either one of them at this point will promise you the moon. I actually think we don't pay a federal income tax or federal property tax. And I actually think I could make the case that we do have a state property tax, even though we technically don't, but a certain percentage of our property tax money does go to the state. Some of the recent legislation minimize that state portion of the property tax. For those of you that actually know something about property tax or watching this and just itching to correct me and say, no, you're wrong. You're not having to. Okay. It's called recapture or Robin Hood, or I learned there's another name for it. It's like the FSP or something, foundation. So I don't know. Enough there to confuse you one way or the other. I would say your presidential candidate has zero influence on your property taxes, but your local school board trustees, local city officials, your local appraisal district, your local tax assessor, all of those people play a much more important role on your property taxes, and your legislators, your local senator and state representatives, which I will be talking with more on trying to get that stuff all squared away and set up. And speaking of, what's up, Kim? So cool. Got to see a high school reunion. Kim has been super strong ally, advocate, and friend for years. Went to school with Kim, and it was so cool to get to see her at the high school reunion. What's up, Kim? All right. Edward Soro, what's up? You're awesome. I don't know. So I'm a little late to the game here. Replying to these comments. No, thank you for doing what you do. Look, the whole thing. You keep me going because I'm super energized by serving and helping, and I love you guys, and that's kind of wise because you're so nice. So thank you, Glenn. What do we got here? Ross, thank you for shedding light on what goes on behind the scenes. I want to do more of it, Ross. I think that the problem is that the infrastructure that used to be there, that was there before like 2008, 2011, was like newspapers. You could count on them to like give real news. Now it is their fault, but it's not. Now we've just gone to a change in how the world works. Now, my assistant gets all her news from TikTok, and it's actually really good stuff. And it's like really good news. But then also I've had a lot of conversations with journalists that do good quality work, and you just can't, it's like these different forums, the world's just changed. And so I do think that in some ways, because of the role that I've played and all the stuff I've done, there is a little bit of a responsibility for me to shed some light on this stuff. And I want to do more of it, and I will. It's just like I'm also actually doing work. I'm not just there making crazy videos just to get clicks. I'm in the weeds, in the mix, running multiple companies and trying to help on multiple fronts. And it's it's a lot, but I can figure it out. We'll get there. Trump. Oh gosh. So now you know I'm not trying to turn this into a political thing. I got close enough. But Miles, congratulations. All right. Just received my Tarrant tax notice today. Cheers to another successful protest. Awesome, man. That's way to go. Yeah, I have seen some people that were able to save a ton of money, especially from last year. And hey, here's the thing. I just flashed up a political thing. Said Trump 2024. It ain't that I don't have strong views or don't want to weigh in. I am not shy about it. I just know this. I've got a different role to play, and it isn't to chime in on the presidential election. There's enough people doing that. I want to be able to help you no matter what you believe. So, and I would much rather, if I'm going to create a dividing line, it's going to be a dividing line on Jesus, not any of that other stuff. Because I've got friends on both sides of the aisle, all walks of life that either are believers or need to be. So for all of you that don't like, me shoving religion down your throat, then I guess you probably just clicked off. But anyway, whatever. So that's where I'm going to risk it. All right, let's see what we got here. I just want to help folks. That's what it boils down to. How about abolish taxes until you sell? All right, James. Now you're getting me riled up here because look, here's the thing. All of the crazy drama that we've heard about property taxes, including all the stuff I've been involved in, is not going to get rid of taxes. The people that are out there saying get rid of property taxes, guess what? They're not getting rid of taxes. All the same taxes will still be paid. They're just going to be paid in another way. So a lot of the tax relief that we got, it was property tax relief, but what it ended up doing, it was through rate compression. And so it just, instead of paying it out of our front pocket, now we're paying it out of our back pocket, but we're still paying it. So here's where I'm centering. I love the idea of eliminating property taxes. I love it. I just don't know of another alternative that I can really endorse. So I'm not going to demonize it. I'm not going to support it. I'm going to stay out of that conversation until I see a plan that can really replace it. I'm going to think, hey, figure it out. Go for it. I'm cheering you on if you can figure it out. Here's where I'm focused. There are two areas that I think we can solve the problem. And one of them is we need to lower property tax bills by lowering how much money our government is spending, by actually getting rid of the taxes because they're spending less. Until they spend less, we're going to pay the same amount of money. All right, so that's number one. There's always wasteful spending. There's nobody that I know of on either side of the aisle that isn't in favor of cutting out waste. All right, now we just might have a disagreement on what the waste is. Whatever, we can deal with that later. Let's talk about another area, and that is, I do think it's completely... There is a moral, I have a moral objection over the government being able to take my home away from me because I haven't paid them. It feels kind of gangsterish to me. But at the same time, I also get it. There are good services that are being paid through those property taxes that are necessary, and I don't want to starve those services out and have them go away. I think that we need good quality, well-funded governments, not overly funded, but we just want good streets, good police, good schools, good, all that stuff good. But I think we need some protections to be able to protect homeowners from the government kicking us off of our property. That feels un-American and definitely un-Texan. So actually, here's some news for you. I don't know. You got a nice looking beard there that's white. I don't know if you dye it or if that's all natural color you got there. But if you happen to know somebody that's over 65, the solution for not getting foreclosed on and getting your home taken from you is already in existence. And it is the over 65 tax deferral. Over 65 tax deferral. You might be thinking, well, isn't that the over 65 exemption? Nah. Totally different. This is something that nobody talks about. I've talked about it a number of times, but it's something that if I can, well, I'm going to talk about it more. Okay. And what it is, let me just show you where to go and how to do this, because I'm all about actually solving problems and not just talking about junk. So if you know somebody that is over 65, go to tad.org, go to forms, go right here and put defer. And then you'll see you've got two different deferrals. Get the over 65 tax deferral. Honestly, I don't know much about this one, so I can't comment on it. I like the idea of it, but get this one. Now, here's what it does. This allows you to, if you can't pay your property taxes, this basically prevents it. Okay, let me start over. If you're over 65 and you already qualify for the over 65 property tax exemption, get that in place. Then come back and fill this form out and get this in place. It's a simple form, just a couple of blanks on this thing. Get it signed, send it in, and then continue paying your property taxes. If, however, you can't pay your property taxes, they will allow you to defer those property taxes. It will accrue interest at like 5% a year, but they won't be able to foreclose and take your house from you. So the way that I look at this is it's almost like long-term disability insurance or something. You can't wait until you get behind in your taxes and then file. You have to file this ahead of time. So it's simple, it's free. Fill the thing out, send it in, and then if you're over 65 and you quit paying your taxes, the government can't take your house. I think that's cool. So that takes care of one of the two solutions for at least the over 65 crowd. And so anyway, all right, James, this is how I'm like, I'm just going to turn this on just for 10 minutes. I'm going to talk and then I'll just shut it down and then I'll probably regret it and delete it later. That little impulse has caused me, I don't know how long I've been doing this, but comments like this just make me, this is going to carry. I'm be on here for 3 hours. So, go get you something to drink, potty break, come on back. I'll still be here. All right. Crystal Maine, Dallas only appraises a third of the properties each year, which means a property is only appraised every 3 years. Not sure why Tarrant is able to do the same. Crystal, I know you, I respect you. I have not heard that that's true. So I am going to believe that you know something about this, but I don't know it. And I would need some more information to be able to say that I agree that you're right. I know that Parker County only does, they do every other year, but I bet you that there's more to this. I bet you that there's maybe certain properties are only reappraised every 3 years, or maybe they only do a site visit every 3 years. But to my experience and knowledge, it's happening every year. So you're a smart person. You know what you're talking about. There's something, I know that there's something to what you're saying here. I just don't know what it is. So if you can get me some more information on that, I'd be happy to answer your questions. And you're awesome, by the way. And I love the way you cut sandwiches. See, I'm all over Facebook. I'm watching it. Just don't comment. I'm going to cut my sandwich, get my kid eye rolling and whatnot. Anyway, George, my man, my hero. Look, George, run for president of Texas. If Texas becomes a state, I will jump into politics. But if, George, you run, I'm voting for you and I'm backing out of the race. You're president. You deserve it. You're the man. Tamara Scott, thank you. Appreciate you. What do we have here? You have educated me a lot since first time home buyer. Awesome. Well, thank you. Happy to do it. Found a favorite coffee spot yet? I will say all the coffee spots that I've been to, if you're not on my personal Facebook page, you can go there and follow it just like you can follow anything. What I've been doing, out just for exercise, I was out riding my bicycle in the morning. And then I was like, I like adventure. I like new experiences and I like local business. So I was like, I'm going to go find little coffee shops. I don't even like coffee that much, but it's kind of growing on me. So I would go to a different coffee shop every morning. Then my kids found out I was doing it. And they said, let me wake up with you at 5:30, Dad, and I'll go ride bikes with you. And now I'm in it for life. As long as these kids want to ride their bikes to go with coffee shops with me in the morning, I will do it. Now, the problem is I got to find only coffee shops that are opened at 6 a.m. and are within really about a 20-minute bicycle ride from my house. And so I've got a coffee shop called Just Love. I've got, what's the one that's, you got to help me with this. It's not Bulletproof Coffee. It's the military one, the military coffee shop. The military coffee shop. That's branding for you. Black Rifle, Axiom, 151 Coffee. I'm not going to Starbucks. I refuse. I'm not going. I will go again, but I'm not doing it for this. And I will say of all of those, Axiom and Just Love are my favorites. When you combine, I'm looking for like 3 or 4 different things. Number 1 is the quality of coffee. Number 2 is the quality of service. Number 3 is the quality of the sunrise at 5:30 in the morning. The sun's getting a little lazy. It's starting to snooze a little bit. So maybe when the time change, I'll be able to evaluate that a little bit better. I would say Axiom is probably my number 1. So there you go. And I don't have anything against Black Rifle. It's just the sunrise sucks, and they're a little more corporate than I want to be. 151 is bottom of the barrel for all of those. At least the location I've been to. There are probably other locations that are great, but the one right off of 35 at 5:30 in the morning, that sunrise is hurting. I do get to see an American flag that's right in front of the freeway, so that's kind of cool, but I'm not seeing as much sunrise. All right, what do we got here? Trey Feller, what's up, man? This guy ran for Tad Board. Didn't make it, but ran a great race and got people thinking and talking, and my hat is off to anybody that is willing to throw their hat in the ring and run for any elected position. We need more good people throwing their hat in there. So my hat's off to you for putting your hat in there. So you can have my hat for throwing yours in to the ring. There you go. All right, Brenda, thank you. Happy Friday, Jeff. OG, true love, if not BSing, folks. There you go. True love is not. Yeah. Amen. All right, Lori, what do we got? 25 minutes in, and I just got on. I need to go back to the start. I hope this is right. Yeah, sorry, it's now dragging on. I'm gonna go click. I'm clicking. Becky St. John's. It doesn't do any good. It's toxic, especially between Christian and Christian. All right, now you're on to like where I started getting kind of controversial and stuff. But hey, Becky, thank you. You're awesome. Becky, I don't even go to church anymore because student. You know what? Here's the thing, Becky. I have been there. I hope I'm not there again. The last time I needed to switch churches, I looked at 13 different churches before I found one that really was it. And for me, and it's not going to be the church for everybody, but I would say don't give up hope. In this area of the world, there's like a church on every street corner. So, but at the same time, Jesus don't send people to heaven for going to church. All right. So you know what? I totally get it. I just want to say, what's up, Eric? This is a guy threw his hat in the ring. He's on the board. He's one of those people that had those campaign promises and then figured out how to get it. You know, I'm going to comment more on that. Eric, get ready. Maybe I'll roast you. Maybe we'll get on and have a little debate. But no, seriously, Eric, thank you for doing what you do. You're awesome, man. All right. Miles, LMAO, just admit it, brother. I don't know. What do we got? Our tax office came only 200 or so more than last year. Not bad. For if you compare that to most years, that is an increase that is far lower than others. And you probably have a $10 million house. You just look rich. I get it. So that's cool. The rest of us, I'm kidding. All right. Got my tax bill today. Thank you. You got it. Everybody getting their tax bill today. I promise I didn't time that, but I couldn't have timed it better if I tried. Oh gosh, here we go again. I have a plan. James, give me the plan. Natural, wife, and $4. There we go. Rock on. 56. All right, man. Hey, you got it. You got good looking, you'll get there. Can I? Yes, please. We all want to. Rock on, man. Hey, you just got to know if you're commenting, it's public. So I'm flashing it up here. Thank you for all the info on the forum. We're okay now, but rock on. Very cool. Black Rifle, thank you. All right. Hey, guys. Look, here's the deal. When there's a bond, you've got to realize that bond does increase your property taxes. Now, I'm not saying to vote for it or not to vote for it. Sometimes they need the money. Listen to them. ask them to make the case. If they make the case that they need money, I'm going to tell you, school districts are up a creek. They need money. The school finance is totally screwed up, but they've got to make the case. And if they don't make the case, you should vote it down. If they do make the case, go ahead and give it to them. Sometimes it's worth it. But hey, look, James, I think that you have to know, like, don't pay for it unless it's worth it. Okay. And everybody's going to define that different. Of course, I love teachers, love students, none of that. I'm just saying, it all goes together. You got to consider the big picture. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. I feel better. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Over and out.